I got something for you today. So about 25 years ago, 2001, I had gotten a battery. Make a long story short, I jumped on this pedophile in jail. They shouldn't have been in the cell block with us. And jumped on him in front of the police. And I went to court. I was already in jail for something else. And there was this another young kid sitting next to me. And I'm just going to call him Stubby. And no pun intended. He was from the county north of where I was from in Indiana. And he had shot himself at one point in time, before I knew him, in his hand. And he had to amputate his hand. And he had a stub right here. And scar tissue over it, looked like he was born that way. I was sitting in court and he had a hat on. They kept having to tell him to take his hat off. Well, he kept fumbling with it. He had one good hand. And in right here, he had a bag of dope, methamphetamine, that lined the edge of his bill right there. And we ended up taking the bag and he folded it up. And I said, "You better do something with that, man." Because they told him, to hand him over to the bailiff. He was going to jail for like 2 weeks. Well, this motherfucker swallowed this bag of dope. This is before I ever really did meth, never tried meth. And we get over to the jail, they took me back to cell block, C block. And of course, small town, I had a couple buddies in there. And he gets over there and he starts acting crazy. They bring him over and he ends up in the cell block with me. And I kept watching him. Because I'm thinking, man, this dude could either die or... And it wasn't long. Evidently the bag come open. This was just like one of them lick bags. Well, this dude, he got all messed up on this. It broke in his stomach. My buddy, call him Fathead. Big old head. He said, you're going to drink this VO5 shampoo. It'll make you throw up. Well, they gave me... He drank about half a bottle of VO5 shampoo and started throwing up. But he was up for like 4 days. And every morning he was on that phone. Calling his girlfriend. And he'd be pointing that stub, man, Jim, we'd be walking around in pairs, because there ain't much to do, you know what I mean? And he'd be throwing that on her, man, you'd feel it go past your head, that stub, blah, blah. And telling a story, you get off the phone, he'd be like, man, he's like, I put this in my girlfriend. And I was like, you what? And you can't help but imagine what this dude's talking about, you know what I mean? He gets pictures in the mail, like in the first few days, his girlfriend sends him pictures like he's gonna die in 2 weeks, it's like a long time. But to him it was. But, he hit a couple people upside the head with that stub. We was walking along and he was on the phone. He goes, "Now listen to me right now." He's like, I wanted to. He goes, "I don't want to break up. If you don't send me that money." And man, he'd throw that thing, man. You could hear the wind coming off. Blow, blow. And because he pointing, he did gestures.